Pigskin, presented by Adina Corporation. If you can believe it, we're already at the midway point of the high school football regular season, so the playoff pictures starting to come into focus a little bit. Obviously, conference races, they're starting to heat up, and we've got some much more interesting jumble, I think, within the league races than we thought that we'd see even just a couple of weeks ago. My name is Brian Skronsky. I am your host, and for always, I've got this great-looking gentleman next to me, Andy Jardy. It's always a party with Jardy, so
it sure is.
Happy to have you here, Andy, and we're going to get into the OCC in just a minute.
Right.
But first, I think maybe the game of the night went down over at Bob Wine Field, so let's begin with Mogador, Lucas, the Cubs playing at home for the first time since week 1. Let's show you how it all played out.
It's a perfect place to start. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, the beautiful, picturesque setting out there in the Lucas Valley. And again, a major matchup between some football factories. Mogador undefeated, Lucas 4-1. But look at these tricky Wildcats.
My goodness.
This was basically the last play of the second quarter, too. Double reverse pass. That would put Mogador up 6-zip at the break. But then Lucas would dominate the third. There's Logan Toms giving Lucas a 7-6 edge. Then after a Mogador fumble, that would set up this. It's Joker's Wild and Andrew Phenom going all in on the full house. 48 yards in for the score. This would put the Cubs on top 14-6. Things were looking really good, but the future Ohio Bobcat, Mr. Mason Williams, was just too much of a human locomotive to slow down. Here is the first of his pair of 2-yard touchdown runs. The 2-point conversion try would fail. The real story, though, Andy, would be that halftime snack of buttery popcorn and greasy burgers, because all of a sudden, Lucas could not hang on to the rock. Check this out. Here's the first fumble that we would see. This is to start off the fourth quarter. The Cubs defense, though, they were keeping it in him. They were making some big plays, and this is a huge fourth down stop to keep them in the lead. So, you know, the good feelings are going.
Sure.
The music's playing out there. The fireworks have been set off. You're thinking things are going to go good. But did I mention the greasy butter fingers, though?
You did.
Because you can see the moving pictures. That's the second Lucas fumbled in the fourth quarter alone. Keeps the door wide open for the Cats. And they would take the lead right here. Williams capping off with the gift. Third total touchdown of the night. Cats would go on top 18-14. But maybe everybody at Lucas got a cold because...
Oh, no. oh, no. A third time?
They were coughing it up.
Oh.
Mogador would jump on it, and the Cats would remain perfect on the season. They moved to 5-0. Costly loss by Lucas at Bob Wine Field as they now dip to 3-2, Andy. And the toughest part for them is moving forward. They just played an undefeated team last week, but they won. They play an undefeated team this week. They lose. They got to go to 6-0 Crestview, so it doesn't get any easier.
No, it does not get any easier, and they got to stop playing green-colored teams at home now because Clear Fork went in there and won in week 1. So something about those green uniforms that just brings out the worst in Lucas, it seems. So
interesting. So maybe
I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious.
Maybe Iceman and Spittler, they need to really factor that in when they take a look at the schedule.
Absolutely. Clearly a deciding factor.
All right, Andy. Well, you're our OCC guy, so where are we going to kick things off with the rolling highlights this week?
I think we're going to send things out to Mount Vernon and Ashland for highlights. And I saw Ashland last week, and I had to, kind of do like a double take when I saw the final score for this one tonight because a complete reversal of what we saw from Ashland last week. Let's take a look and see how they got it done tonight against Mount Vernon. And just when you think you understand the OCC, I have no idea. Life throws you a curveball. I can't hit the curveball. And we'll get a look here at what went down.
Well, it was homecoming night, and Luke Bryant trying to show out. A lot of pretty ladies dressed up there. 27-yard strike to Jonathan Metzger. It was 7-zip Ashland. Caden Spott's going to make it 13-0 after they missed the PAT. And they would just keep it rolling here in the first quarter. 97-yard pick 6 here, Andy. Oof. Totally different looking team than a week ago.
It is, and I'm digging the color rush uniforms too. Maybe that sparked something.
Next up, we're going to see Bryant to McFrederick. This is a 45-yard touchdown strike here. It's 26-zip in favor of the Arrows. Mount Vernon, they're not going to get just blown out, are they?
No.
Lane, he's too much of a cool man. He hooks up with Johnny Askew, 33 yards there. It's 26-7, but now Bryant to Metzger, 11 more yards. He spins his way in. It's 32-7, and some more icing on the cake. This time Bryant to Grayson Sturry from 23 yards, and they would go on to blow things open. Arrows win 53-7. They had another pick 6 in the game too, Andy, down the stretch of 95 yards. So they had a 97-yarder and a 95-yarder. If you're getting that much production from your defense, you better win the game.
You better, and the defense is stepping up in a big way too, because last week the offense was nowhere to be found in that loss to New Philadelphia, 15-7. So any way that they can find ways to get the ball into the end zone are a good thing for the Arrows going forward, and a huge bounce back win, because they just seriously they could not do anything right last week against New Philly. Credit to the Quakers defense, I think, has to go out there too, but Ashland, good to see them find things, figure things out here this week and just roll for that 53-7 win.
So the Arrows get to 1-1. You mentioned the Quakers defense. They went up against Mansfield Senior tonight. We'll show you now as we bring up the full scoreboard for the OCC about how the Tigers fared on the road in their first meeting against New Philadelphia since the 1940s. And it would go well for Mansfield Senior as they would win it, Andy, 21-10. And they needed kind of a big play at the end to kind of blow things open. Duke Reeks went for 171, but most of them on one pass.
Yeah, 97-yard touchdown pass when it was 14-10, put this one out of reach for the Quakers as the Tigers go on to win 21-10. Much needed win for Mansfield Senior. It's been a tough 2 weeks for them. This was a game coming into tonight. I was very interested to see how it would go because I knew that New Philadelphia's defense was really good.
Sure.
Would they be able to give Mansfield Senior a game? They certainly gave him a game, and I think this was a good test for Mansfield Senior and a good bounce-back win for them.
And Ricky Mills, too, used a lot in the offense tonight. They weren't using him the last 2 weeks, though.
Right.
Save him for defense. 2 touchdown runs for Ricky. How about the score at Lexington? That's the stunner, I think, to a lot of folks.
That's the game we were driving back, listening on the radio to the scores coming in, and it was like, wait, what? Lexington beat Worcester 22-21. So how about this? Lexington now tied for first in the OCC. They're saving all of their wins for once they got into conference play because they're now 2-0 in the conference, 2-3 overall in the season. It's them and West Holmes sitting at the top of the conference, and that will be an interesting game. They do not play next week. I'm sorry. Lexington is at Mansfield Senior next week. Also going to be a very interesting game.
And the Generals, actually, they led 13-0 in that game early in the fourth quarter. Then Lexington, 3 scores, and they went for it on a 2-point conversion after scoring with just 49 seconds left. So you got to give a lot of credit to them because if they don't get that, they lose the game.
Yeah, what is this, the Giants-Titans game from last Sunday, going for 2 with a chance to win it? I love it, though. I mean, go for it. Why not? And I believe they blocked a punt in that game, too, is what I heard as well. So they pulled out all the crazy stops to get this win, and it looked like Worcester was maybe starting to kind of get it together here as the season progressed, but this is a difficult loss for them. We'll see how they regroup next week when they host West Holmes.
Who, as you can see the score there, 56-0. Both Kyle Maltrich and then Sam Williams-Dixon, 3 touchdowns each. So the Scott Valentine era, everyone was so excited. A lot of people, they were the sexy pick as the sleeper in the OCC. 0-5 now.
Yeah, it's just been a tough go for them here to start. They were in a couple close games there, I believe, early on. Week 1, Week 2 were some really close games, but it has just kind of regressed back to where they were the last couple of weeks here. It's tough to go up against West Holmes anytime, though, so that's no surprise, really.
So there are all your scores from the OCC. It's going to be kind of a wild shakeup, I think, as it progresses. Who would have thought that there would be so much juice to Mansfield Senior against Lexington after the first couple of weeks of the season? I didn't see that coming.
No, not at all. And, yeah, you look at it next week, and it's like, okay, that's a game that could very well shape the OCC race. And I don't know if anyone's going to catch West Holmes, but you can't afford to lose any ground to them. So we'll see if Lexington can stay unbeaten in the conference.
All right, Andy, speaking of unbeaten, let's throw it over to Hayden Gray now. He's got some highlights of Colonel Crawford, who looked like they kind of steamed their roll to a big old 5-0.
They sure did, and they were taking on a Seneca East team who came into the night at 3-1, but we're going to see in the pictures that we get started now why Colonel Crawford is legitimate and 5-0.
I'm excited to watch these.
Yeah, we kick things off with their star wide receiver, Trevor Vogt, hauling in a 32-yard receiving touchdown from Lohr.
Dropping the dime there.
Tanner Dyer then got to take it in from 2 yards out. This is early into the second quarter to make things 14-0. Colonel Crawford early into the matchup. Then Cam Lohr got to get a 3-yard touchdown run of himself. The quarterback can do it both on the ground and through the air. Definitely one of those leaders for Colonel Crawford this season. No other than Trevor Vogt got to find the end zone again here. 21-yard touchdown catch. A phenomenal year for the wide receiver. Eagles winning large. Then Matt Clinard got to take it in from 4 yards out a few weeks ago at East Knox. He was the reason why they had so much success, found his way into the end zone 2 times tonight. But the play I'm really interested in right here.
Pick it up. Pick it up. Why isn't he picking it? What just happened?
Connor McMichael
What just happened?
takes it in. You can't advance the ball in high school like that, but that would lead to Matt Clinard's 6-yard touchdown run. Colonel Crawford would take this one in convincing running clock fashion, 42-0 to improve to 5-0.
I told you not to show me. What? It's a live ball.
It's a brain scratcher.
It's a live ball. Big win for Crawford. This was kind of like a tournament for them starting this week and next week, taking on one of the teams at the top of the N10 in Seneca East, and then next week, Colonel Crawford Carey maybe trying to overlook Seneca East a little bit, but not the case, Hayden.
No, I think that they took this game serious for sure. I got to talk to Trevor Vogt after the game, and he said they treat each week, each opponent with the same level of respect. And that being said, they can now move on to get ready for the Cary Blue Devils. He said it's just another game, but they're treating this one, obviously, with high expectations.
I'm looking forward. I'm going to try and get out the Colonel Crawford on Monday to football practice. Maybe we'll get some interviews on the podcast then, but that's going to be a big one coming up next weekend. Do they face an undefeated Cary squad? Let's take a look at the other scores from around the Northern 10 Conference. But, Cary taking on a Buckeye Central team, but Hayden.
Yeah, Cary going to walk out with a big win in that one tonight, 48-7 over the Bucks.
And I think that's now 20 in a row since that Week 1 loss last year. Cary, Crawford, 5-0, 5-0 next week. It's probably the Northern 10 championship game in Week 6, and I'm excited to see what happens there.
Definitely going to be must-see TV. Another game that we are keeping an eye on tonight, Mohawk and Winford. Mohawk taking that one 12-8 over Winford, Travis.
Winford scored 8 in the first half. Zayden Fry scored 12 in the second half, and then the Mohawk defense coming up big late to knock off Winford.
Upper Sandusky bouncing back this week with a big win over Bucyrus, 54-21.
It was a tale of the Levis. Levi Lamb, 3 rushing touchdowns. Levi Allen, 2 rushing touchdowns as Upper Sandusky. They roll.
And then Tiffin Calvert doing what they do, getting a 44-14 win over St. Joseph Central Catholic.
So this was a big win for Calvert. They were 16th in D6 Region, 26 before tonight, and they have a big chance to gain ground. They are at 4-1 Margaretta next week.
So, Travis, that is our N10 scores. Certainly watching those two teams at the top, but a few other teams that we're watching over in your favorite conference, the KMAC, Danville and Northmore. That was the game you were at tonight.
Yeah, Danville, one of those teams I said, like Fredericktown, that I thought had a veteran squad coming back. Maybe they had a chance of winning a KMAC championship, going up against a 5-0 Northmore squad tonight. First place versus first place in the conference, and this is how it went down at the Castle on homecoming night as well. Congratulations to Maxton Lauer and Abby Conant, the king and queen. Second quarter, A.J. Bauer throws it down the middle. Caleb Chenier at the goal line, but doesn't get in. That's huge because 2 plays later, A.J. Bauer looking for the end zone, and he is stopped. They would miss the field goal, and it's 0-0. The next drive, Danville would make them pay. Max Payne lowering the boom, bringing Payne. It's 6-0. And then watch this play from Walker Weckesser. It looks like he's just going out of bounds towards the end of the quarter, but he finds a wide open receiver, Aiden Burke, 40 yards. It's 12-0. That was on 4th down. Fourth quarter now, Walker Weckesser, he's going to do it himself, weaving in and out of traffic. 14-yard touchdown run, 18-0, but Northmore, they had some fight in them. A.J. Bauer, he's going to look and throw 68-yard a dime to Bo Landon, makes the score 18-7, but too little, too late as Ryan Lucas from Danville closes things out, makes it 25-7, and then they'd add another one on there to make it 32-7. Danville, huge win, moves to 4-1, and they are still atop the KMAC standings. Walker Weckesser, 12 of 18, 170 yards, a touchdown, 9 carries, 14 yards, and a touchdown as the Danville Blue Devils, big win. Their only loss is a North Union squad. It's undefeated. They lost 28-0 out of conference, but right now they're rolling in the KMAC.
So, Travis, like we've said, the Knoxmore Athletic Conference is another close one this year. But as to your matchup tonight, how was Danville able to maintain that dominance, shutting them out through that last place that you showed us? Obviously, with Max Lauer out, they're less of an offensive threat, but still, you saw they have playmakers. How were they able to maintain that tonight?
They actually threw the ball a lot in that first half, tried to get A.J. Bauer going, but a big momentum shift was that drive by Northmore. They were first and goal from the 1. Loss of 1, loss of 2, Bauer sacked, missed the field goal, and then Danville takes that right down and scores. 6-0 was a defensive battle. Northmore then had him 4th down with a minute left. You get the stop there, kneel it out, 6-0 at the half. No, Lancaster makes something happen, throws the big touchdown pass, and then in the second half, they just gave it to Max Payne and company, just wore out that defensive line from Northmore, and Danville able to pull it away. And now let's take a look at some more scores from around the Knox Morrow Athletic Conference. Centerburg, did they stay atop the standings, or did Loudonville? Well, Tyler Johnson, a touchdown pass with 25 seconds left, gave Centerburg the 28-21 victory. Loudonville led 14-0 at the half, 21-14 late in the game with 5 minutes left, but then Centerburg comes back and scores twice for the win. East Knox, the Bulldogs, back in the win column, 14-7. Coldwater, a 4-yard touchdown run with 17 seconds left in the half. It was a defensive battle that second half as East Knox pulls it off. Another score we have, Mount Gilead, Fredericktown. Fredericktown 43-22. The Freddies outscore the Indians 21-0 over the final 12-13. And then Hillsdale with a big win, 33 points in the first half to get back in the win column. They host 4-1 Doughton next Friday night. So, Caden, looking at their Centerburg and Danville atop the standings, but Danville travels to Loudonville next week, a squad that gave Centerburg a big test.
Yeah, I mean, that's really interesting. When I saw that score, I was surprised. I mean, it took some late-game heroics from the Trojans to get that one done. So Loudonville showing that they can hang around and, compete in this KMAC conference their first year joining the conference, and gave Tyler Johnson and those Trojans a run for their money.
I think this KMAC conference is going to go down to the last couple weeks. Northmore travels to Fredericktown in the game. We'll see Loudon Free next week. But we're going to take a break. When we come back, the moment you all have been waiting for, our Phenom and Top Play of the Week. The winners announced after the break. You're watching the Friday Night Pigskin live and free on the OH Report.
Here, and if you want to see me and the gang chop it up with some unintelligent conversation, we've got the show for you. Check out the OH Report video podcast every Monday, exclusively right here on the OH Report. is right here now. Are you ready, Travis?
I'm ready.
He's standing right next to me.
Let's do this. I'm excited.
Drum roll, please. Hit it! We'll begin with our Friday night Phenom from week number 4. We picked the best performances. You decide what was the best of the best, and how can you argue with those kind of numbers? Almost 10 yards per clip, almost 200, and a couple of tutties on 21 carries. Kalen LeMaster definitely was the master of this game. A huge performance by this Trojan, and a big win over East Knox too, Trav.
Yeah, and Kalen LeMaster, Tyler Johnson, that 1-2 punch is the reason why Centerburg is sitting atop the KMAC standings along with Danville.
So congratulations, no surprise, a Trojan winner here on our list. But who would have the top play from week number 4? We're about to find out. So
Has
again,
to be Shadone, right?
we put it into your hands, and you,
Oh,
the people of North
okay.
Central Ohio, decided the Jesse Rings 30-yard catch.
Ooh.
He got blasted. Did he even need a helmet for this one? Nope. Lid not necessary. Big time catch, taking the contact.
I can understand why he got the win for this, because just the way he was able to take that contact and still hold on to the ball for the big catch.
So congratulations, not one but 2 Trojans winners this week of our Phenom in top play. So remember, we come up with them, you guys vote, and we give you the winners right here live on the Friday Night Pigskin. Well, Trav, it was a big win tonight for a homecoming team, and I've got a surprise for you.
Oh, yeah?
We've got Sean Cedar, head
Really?
coach of the Ashland Arrows,
Awesome.
on the line right now. So let's go ahead and bring him in. Let's see where Sean's watching from. I'm curious to see.
Hey, Coach.
Hey, there he is. Look at that good-looking mug. Coach, awesome game for you guys tonight. A bounce-back game, too, after a week ago. Not a whole lot of offense, and then all of a sudden, a 53-burger? What got into your boys tonight?
Well, I think it started with our defense. They've been playing really well all season. 2 pick sixes tonight, and we were able to get the ball moving pretty well on offense. I think last week's performance kind of left a sour taste in everybody's mouth. We had a lot of turnovers. We kind of ID'd that as when we turn the ball over, usually things don't go well for us. We were able to clean it up a little bit tonight, and like I said, defense set us up, and then the offense, they started clicking, and then things were going pretty good.
Yeah, you start off the season and you have a tough loss, then back-to-back wins. Would you say that last week was kind of a disappointment for you guys? Did you feel like you were in a pretty good groove and just had an off night?
Yeah, 100%. That week 1 we kind of just chalked up as a weird anomaly. It was kind of the weirdest first quarter we've ever been a part of. Everything that could have gone wrong kind of did. And then week 2 and 3 we got back on pace, and last week we felt good. We had a lot of drops, miscues, misreads, just things that were kind of uncharacteristic for us up to that point. And then luckily we were able to put that behind us and come out and play well tonight.
Coach, you know what? Big win tonight, but next week you get Madison. I know they're 0-5, but there's a lot of storylines. You know, Coach Valentine now coming back to coaching. You guys will be facing him next week. Just what did you guys say to the team afterwards to get yourself ready for Madison?
We're not quite there yet. Always try to have the kids enjoy it and remind them they're high school kids. Of course, I got a homecoming dance tomorrow, so enjoy the win tonight and go out and be kids and have fun as long as they're smart. And then we'll go to work on Sunday and Monday, kind of getting ready for our next game. I don't want to put too much pressure on it because, again, at the end of the day, it's a Friday night football game with a bunch of high school kids, so I want them to enjoy it. So we'll go about business like usual, and got a ton of respect for V. Obviously, he hired me at Ashland, so we really like those guys. And every week except for when we play them, we're rooting for them. So it'll be a fun one next week.
Yeah, Coach, come on. You can be candid with us. You know, it's late on a Friday night. Coach V, I know he's a mentor to you. He brought you into the system, but at the same time, you want to take him down. You want to get that big win over Big Papa, don't you? And show the whole world that they made the right choice sticking with Sean Cedar at Ashland.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that'll be storylines, and those are fun things. But it is one of those things. We want to win every game, and it'll feel good if we win. But I don't think we're not going to try to overemphasize it just because I don't want the kids to feel that pressure. But yeah, of course, as storylines go, there is that. So I'm sure the coaches will probably feel more pressure than the kids will, hopefully.
All right, Coach, midway point of the season, you're 3-2. I know everybody, they want to be peaking right at the end of the season to get into the playoffs, but where do you think your team is at this point after week 5?
I think we're improving, and that's kind of our key. The big focus from here on out is consistency. We need to put the turnovers behind us, which we felt like we had until last week. So we only had 1 turnover tonight, so that's good. As long as we keep taking care of the football on offense and defense keeps playing shutout defense, I think we're going to be in most games, give ourselves a chance to win, and hopefully take home an OCC title and then play in November.
Coach, take me inside a Friday night for you, with a nice win, a big blowout win. How do you usually spend your Friday nights? Do you like to kick it back at home and maybe watch some OH report? Do you throw on a good movie, some Netflix? How do you unwind and relax after you take care of business?
It's funny you say that because I actually do go through it. I usually watch the game 3 times. I'll probably call it a night around 2 or 3. I'll watch your guys' broadcast, and I'll watch our broadcast, and I'll kind of cut up and do some stat stuff. So I do enjoy hearing all the commentary and getting to watch it a couple times. And that's usually my evening, and usually have some food and something to drink, and then get up Saturday morning and go do the JV and freshman stuff.
Sounds like a pretty good Friday night to me, Coach. So you're getting to bed a lot earlier than I know a lot of us do.
Yeah.
So, hey, thanks so much for kicking it with us here on a Friday night. Congratulations on a huge win. Enjoy it. And are you going to be chaperoning the dance tomorrow? Are you involved at all at the homecoming?
No, I have tomorrow evening off, so probably try to find the wife and go out for a date or something so she can see me sometime this weekend.
You can take her dancing.
Yep.
Yeah, it didn't sound like that's in the cards,
probably
Travis,
not, yeah.
but hey. All right, Coach, again, thank you so much for the time, man, and enjoy this win, and enjoy watching the broadcast, too, both of them.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Congrats, Coach.
All right,
Yep,
so obviously he wouldn't admit it, Travis, but for us in the media, it probably is bigger to us in the media, the whole Valentine
it's
versus
just a big
Cedar thing,
storyline,
right?
just seeing what he did at Ashland and the retire pretty much on top coaching-wise. And then, he got the itch, and Madison opened up, and he thought, maybe I'll come back, but it's right down the road from Ashland. So we all saw that when he took that job. We pointed to this game. And it doesn't matter if Madison's 5-0 or 0-5. It's still a huge storyline for them in Ashland.
I'll tell you, I've gotten a couple of calls on the business line. We've got some Facebook messages. I've gotten some private emails, too. People asking, can you do the game at Madison next week? We don't care what the records are. We just want to see it. So we'll at least try to have some coverage for you guys. Of course, Cedar versus Valentine, Ashland versus Madison. And I think for Sean, the fact that Madison does check in at 0-5, maybe a little bit of pressure. If Madison was off to a great start, 4-1, even 3-2, might, hey, you can brush it off. They're 0-5, man. Better get that win.
Yeah, that's even bigger for it because, teacher over student still, or is the student finally up to that level to where he overtakes the teacher?
All right, guys, we're going to take one more time out. When we come back, we have got so many highlights still remaining for you, including just about every single game in the MOAC.
Yeah, right.
We've got the moving pictures. That's all on the other side. Stay here. Cutie Corner.
At Knox Community Hospital, your primary care physician is more than someone who delivers your test results, more than someone who writes prescriptions, more than someone who listens to your heart. We are your healthcare partner who takes the time to know you, listen to your concerns, and provide you with expert personalized care to make and keep you well. Because to us, you're more than just numbers on a chart. You're a neighbor and a friend. Knox Community Hospital, in the community, for the community.
We guarantee nobody else gets you closer to the action than our exclusive coverage. So give me a call, Brian Skoronsky, and let's make you a part of the game.
is. Garrett Parlett. Garrett, let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. Of course, it wouldn't be the Friday Night Pigskin without Firelands G-Man, of course.
Yes, let's run through some Firelands scores. I know Crestview was traveling undefeated still, traveling up to Monroeville. They had a tough challenge up there on the road. They won that one 48-6. Plymouth, they won that one. They lost that one to Western Reserve, who, coming off the loss to Crestview, I didn't know how they were going to fare against Plymouth. They were able to win that one by 20, 49-29, as the Rough Riders get another win. They improved to 2-3. Dayton Christian and South Central, no, that didn't finish 0-0, as well as Mapleton and St. Paul. That also didn't win. That didn't finish 0-0. But those two will be played tomorrow night on Saturday at 7. And then, of course, I know they're not in the Firelands Conference.
Oh, my gosh.
But we love to give Willard some love. One of the highest scoring teams in the state. Willard knocked off Lakota 41-31. I think in every game they scored over 40 points. So if you're playing Willard, expect to get a 40-piece dropped on your head, because they're doing it against anybody they play. As yet another 40-piece bomb
Crimson
from Willard.
Flashes.
And this time the Crimson Flashes get a win. But no highlights from the Firelands Conference tonight, sadly. So didn't get to see any of those guys play, but I did get to see some highlights from the MOAC. I was at Galleon and Clear Fork. Let's run those highlights and let's see what happened down there in the valley and see if Galleon was able to overcome a tough Clear Fork team. But Ty Robertson was scored. That's not going to be shown, so this is already 7-0. This would make it 15-0 from Luke Schlosser. That'd be an 8-yard touchdown. They would convert the 2-point conversion, 15-0 early in favor of the Colts. Of course, the rushing attack is this one is Powey Alt from 4 yards out. He's going to power over a couple guys, making this 22-3 at the half, as it's all Colts here early. And, of course, without a Clear Fork game, Victor Skook has to have his imprint on the
look
game.
at the speed.
This one from 9 yards out.
Wow,
Skook's
the
able to score
agility.
29-3 in favor of the Colts. Gabe Ivey would at least try to put the Tigers on his back. He would get one here from a yard out. This makes it just a bit closer, 29-10, as Clear Fork begin to run away with this one. And then finally, Luke Schlosser, the MVP, had a 10-yard touchdown to close this one out and get Clear Fork a big MOAC win. You see it on the screen here. A little inside give, and then following his blockers as Clear Fork moves to 4-1 on the year.
Oh,
and the Tigers
my gosh.
drop to 2-3 on the year. So, Galleon, I actually picked them to upset Clear Fork. Colt Nation proved me wrong. They got it done here tonight, 36-10 over Galleon. But listen, we're not done here. We'll be back. Storm will be back. I'll be back. But right now, we got to throw it over to Brian to see what happened in Ontario versus River Valley.
I think it was the buffalo chicken dip that got to G with that prediction.
Too much cheese in the chicken dip for G this week. And a lot of points, of course. When you're playing against River Valley, you've got to be able to score and score in bunches. Could Ontario score enough to get it done? Let's show you. Here we go.
This is a big one, too. I'm here with playoff rankings already, but if you want to do playoff rankings, but Ontario and River Valley is a big one.
So here they come running out in Caledonia. The Vikes trying to hold it down, but Bog Penn Miller, he's got some other ideas. Look at this dude scrambling out the pocket, making guys miss left and right.
Afterburners.
60 yards to the crib, 8:58 left in the first. So this one was very early on. Grant Butler for River Valley then gonna match it. 68 yards, he's gonna take it into the zone. We're all square midway through the first. Now Braxton Hall for the Warriors, gonna make a nice grab over the shoulder. They would reclaim the lead, 14-7, still in the first quarter, and we're not done yet. Blake Mosier, the 10-yard TD catch. And fast forward now, Grant Butler for River Valley, a 23-yard catch in the second quarter. That would put them on top 24-21, and you knew it wouldn't be a highlight without Caden Shadone doing Caden Shadone-like things. That one from 35 yards out to put them up by 3 in the third, and here he is, back at it again. 41-34, River Valley scores with 34 seconds in the third. They would tack on another one in the fourth quarter. I think he's the best quarterback in the area.
I think he should have won at least Phenom or Play of the Week this past week, but hey, the Centerburg fans are really good. But River Valley and Ontario both, I mean, it's week 5. I got to talk a little bit about playoffs. Ontario's loss still has them 10th in D3, Region 10, but in Region 14, D4, that boosts River Valley into the top 10 as well. They sit at 10th. Both big wins for both, well, a big win for River Valley. Ontario, yeah, it hurt, but they're still within striking distance despite dropping down into Division 3.
Yeah, I think that's tough for them. Actually, yeah, moving up to Division 3 for Ontario. So we'll see how they're able to fare. We're expecting them to get in, of course, the top 16, and a long way to go. Still 5 more games, but man, what a fun one that was.
Yeah.
You see the spark though from the Warriors. They're re-engaged this season, and are expecting quite a few wins from them down the stretch in the MOAC against some of the bottom feeders.
And if they get a good matchup, hey, maybe a win or two in the playoffs.
Speaking of, well, not speaking of, but how about let's see one of the top dogs in the conference tonight. We'll throw it over now to Storm Blunchley. He's got your Shelby Whippets.
Yeah, I mean, let's just not waste any time. Let's just jump right into that Shelby highlight. As we take a look, Shelby touchdown here in the first quarter. Camden Wheeler, 52-yard little pitch and catch. He's going to skirt his way all the way into the end zone, and no Pleasant players will catch him. Then next up in the same quarter, Shelby touchdown pass from Braden DeVito to Isaiah Ramsey for a 15-yard little toss. That would make it 13-0 in the first quarter. Moving on to quarter number 2, Shelby would rush this one in. Skylar Winters from 10 yards out. And then Shelby once again would score on a 3-point field goal, 15 yards out from Casey Lance. That would make the score 23-3. And in quarter number 3, we would have our final score. Shelby, a touchdown, 30-yard pass from DeVito to Ramsey. That would be it, 33-3. A bunch of threes on the scoreboard here tonight, at least in the Shelby game. Moving on now to our MOAC scoreboard. All the scores from the MOAC. We had a lot of games on there. River Valley 48, Ontario 34, like Brian had mentioned. Clear Fork 36, Galleon 10, Harding 3, Shelby 33, Highland 45, Pleasant 6. Garrett, the MOAC is heating up as well as the Firelands, like we've just kind of been talking about. So it'll be an exciting second half of the season for sure.
Yeah, strong. The only highlight we weren't able to see there was the Highland Pleasant game. And last time we seen Highland, they lost to Crestview, but they've had a couple good wins now. They bounced back in the MOAC, and they're competing for a spot too. So conference play now beginning to heat up. So, football down the stretch is going to be interesting to see how the seeding works for playoffs.
Alrighty, that's going to do it over here for Storm and G-Man. We're going to toss it back to Brian here on the Friday Night Pigskin.
Thank you, guys. And that's week 5 already in the books, Trev.
Already?
We hear it every single year from our buddy Jeff Allen. The fastest 10 weeks in football.
He's right.
He's
wrong.
Right. It's halfway over. It feels like we just got started, but with the playoffs expanded, there's still a lot more to come. Oh, and there's a lot more people coming on to set now.
Why didn't you leave any buffalo chicken dip for, I don't know, whatever.
Too fat.
Okay.
Well, here's the big fat schedule that we have coming up for you guys in week 6 of the high school football season. How about Lexington at Mansfield Senior? And like me and Andy were talking about, if you would have told me after week 3 that this game would have a lot of juice, I would have said why. Well, now it does.
The Tigers always got the juice, but that win by Lexington, one of the shockers in the area tonight.
I think even bigger shocker, at least to me, was how Lucas lost tonight, looking to bounce back against 6-0 Crestview.
That's gonna be a heavyweight battle up there at Crestview. The Cougars, they want to stay undefeated, but Lucas, they always got something to say about that to those undefeated teams.
Those will both be live and free for you guys next Friday night, as well as Cardington at Centerburg. I know the KMAC Trav got something to say about both these games.
Centerburg looking to stay atop the KMAC standings. Cardington, a tough loss to those East Knox Bulldogs. Can they bounce back? They've lost 2 in a row, actually.
East Knox, they did get a nice convincing win tonight, heading back home to the friendly confines of Howard, where they always seem to play well, looking for 2 straight when they take on Mount Gilead.
Yeah, Mount Gilead, one of the surprise teams. They dropped a tough one to Fredericktown tonight, but they're going to put up a fight down in Howard.
Moving on, Northmore, Fredericktown, basically all the KMAC on lock, all your faves.
It's a KMAC week on a Friday Night Pigskin. Northmore coming off that tough loss. They're going to be, I think, without Max Lauer for another week. Fredericktown, can they bounce back? It's a matchup of 2 teams in the KMAC with 1 loss, so to stay alive, one of these 2 teams will. The other team got a lot of work to do.
Ridgedale at Crestline actually got moved to Saturday night.
Just found that out literally about an hour ago.
So likely we are going to be dropping that one. Sorry, Bulldogs fans. We'll see. We'll let you know next week what's going to be going down with that one. But for sure, we'll be out there in Freddie country. And we'll also have Shelby, Galleon, and we will have one more game, too, next week.
I hope.
The biggest one.
Yes.
Cary at Colonel Crawford. Don't think we're going to be able to do the game live, but we'll at least have a highlight.
It's the Northern 10 championship game in week 6. I know it's only week 6, but these two teams were on a collision course from week 1. Can Cary make it 21 straight, or can Colonel Crawford knock the unbeaten team off and take the crown? We'll see.
And I believe that Cary, I saw, they have the second longest winning streak in the state now. 21.
It's not hard to believe the way this team.
There's only 7, of course,
Yeah.
that could potentially be in there. I don't remember which team it is that has a longer streak. But it's
Very
not
local,
Cary.
maybe?
They're number 2.
I don't know.
No, they didn't win it last year. They didn't. Well, hey, we got the whole squad here all of a sudden. That's going to be our show. We're always way too loopy by the end of this thing. Look at us. We're drenched in sweat. We're just a mess.
I think Hayden and I are just going to start going to Monroeville now since we have a volleyball game in match in 2 hours or something. But hey, that's what we do.
Yeah, so check that out live and free tomorrow. We'll also be over at the Ashland Soccer Complex. The Lady Arrows will be taking on Perrysburg. No Eric Will tonight. We're missing him. I didn't even hear from Eric. Did anybody know if he's okay? Nobody's heard from Eric?
I hope he's all right. Let us know, Eric. You all right, bud? We hope you are.
All right. So long, everybody. Thanks for watching, and thank you to Adena Corporation for sponsoring. But we're shutting down the lights.